हो रहा है और इमर्जिंग मार्केट के डीन मार्क मोबियस जो पहले टेम्पल्टन फंड्स में चलाते थे वो इस समय बातचीत कर रहे हैं निकुंज डालमिया से इस मार्केट के बारे में। आइए सुनते हैं।
Once the market comes down further, of course, this is just the beginning. I believe that you'll see markets come down. But interestingly enough, not all markets are down. Of course, India, in its downside, has actually outperformed the S&P 500. But some markets, like Saudi Arabia, Brazil, are actually up. So we have to pick and choose which markets look interesting and which markets will not be so affected. But nevertheless, those markets that are affected are down. Now's a good time to start looking for bargains.
So, Mark, what will be the turning point for this market? Will it be geopolitical? Will it be Fed? Or will it be pure prices? Because, Mark, there are times when events do not change, but prices, they go down so much that markets, they start to factor in a lot of bad news. So, at this juncture, what do you mind are financial markets pricing in?
Well, one of the things that you have to be careful about in India and also in the U.S. is the rise of interest rates, because as you know, the Reserve Bank will probably want to raise rates in India in view of the higher inflation problem. So given that situation, you have to focus on those companies that have low debt or no debt, because those are the ones that will survive this crisis. And those are the ones that will pay very good rewards in the long term. So I think it's very important to pick and choose and not just take any big stock, any index stock, but look at those companies that have strong balance sheets and, of course, are growing earnings as well.
Mark, so let's address the 4 factors which are bothering Indian markets. First is geopolitical. What is your assessment? How much of the geopolitical scare is in the price?
Well, from a geopolitical point of view, if you look at India and Russia, India is not dependent upon the Russian oil, as you know. And also, India, despite all the concerns about global warming and so forth, has lots of coal. So if necessary, India can depend on coal rather than oil or gas. So in that sense, India has a lot of flexibility going forward when you look at commodity prices. But then you must remember that India is still growing at a torrid pace. The growth rate in India this year would probably be 7 or 8% even. So even with these higher fuel prices, which is a dampener in some industries, not all, then you're going to see a good growth in India.
Mark, the second factor which is bothering Indian markets is that how world is adjusting to a higher interest rate regime. So after the recent sell-off and adjustment in high P stocks locally and globally, how much of the Fed hike or how many Fed hikes are already priced in?
I think a number of Fed hikes are already priced in, but people will probably be surprised that interest rates in America at least could go well above 7%. I know this sounds very high, but it's happened in the past. If you look at inflation rates in America, now it's 7.5%, and the central bank is going to want to bring that down. And they believe, probably wrongly, higher interest rates will bring inflation down. And that means those companies that are vulnerable, that is high debt companies, are going to be in trouble.
Mark, the third factor bothering India is this relentless selling which is coming from institutional investors. Now, if the India story is so strong and earning visibility is around the corner and Indian markets have corrected to reasonable levels, why are FIs selling? Is it more compulsive in nature or this is India's specific factor?
A reaction on the part of investors around the world, including institutional investors. They pull back. They see markets coming down. They say, oh, I better get out and wait until the bottom is reached. So you're seeing that not only in India, but in other parts of the world, the US and so forth. S&P is down more than the Indian index. So people are pulling money back everywhere.
Mark, you own 3 stocks in India. Are you tempted to make that 4 or already you made your 3 stocks to 2 stocks in the sell-off?
The Indian stocks, we're not selling them, that's for sure. And with enough downside, in other words, enough of these movements downwards, we'd probably buy more.
ओके, तो क्लियरली मार्क मोबियस की निवेशकों को सलाह यहाँ पर हम देख रहे हैं। एक बड़ा ट्रिगर यहाँ पर विदेशी बाजार से जिस तरह से आता हुआ दिख रहा है। रशिया और यूक्रेन के बीच जो तनाव की स्थिति है वो लगातार बढ़ती हुई दिख रही है और इस पर हम ग्लोबल एक्सपर्ट्स के साथ, हमारे डोमेस्टिक एक्सपर्ट्स के साथ लगातार बातचीत